Hey Liz, it's Mr. Shakespeare here again with you on the 25th of October 22. How are you doing today, Liz?
Very well. I think your calculator is grateful for the break.
Yeah.
You little calculator. We're going to have to do a fund for Mr. Shakespeare's calculator so he can get some new batteries, because at the rate he's punching on there all the time when we're doing our other probes, it's so funny to me. You must go through batteries every day.
Well, sorry to burst your bubble, Liz, but this is a solar powered one. It seems to work on solar, so it's all right. Picks up on the light.
It's a solar powered one. So now the mystery is solved. Mr. Shakespeare uses a solar powered calculator. More fool us. Okay. Kanye, what do you want to do?
Well, can you grab him, please?
Yes, I have him here. Ooh, he is in a very dark mood today. He is angry.
Okay. Here they go. So, Adidas ends partnership with Kanye over rappers' unacceptable, hateful, and dangerous comments, allegedly. So, this sounds like on him. What does he think about this?
So, first of all, just to clarify, before we get hate comments in the YouTube, Adidas is the UK pronunciation. Adidas is the USA pronunciation. Okay, Adidas. What do you think about it? He thinks it's unfair. It's unjust. He's being targeted. Now, as I connect to him, he does have some sort of mental disorder. Okay. He's not, there's something going on in that brain of his. Just like, and that doesn't mean he's good or bad, of course, but just like when we probe Elon Musk, I pick up on that as well. Elon Musk's brain is wired totally different to our brains, right? I'm getting that there's some misfiring going on in Kanye's head.
Right. Okay.
He feels like the world is crumbling down on him, right? He's saying to me, it's shut up or die. His exact words, okay? He's very paranoid. He's saying to me that everything's like closing in on him. And he believes it's Kim's influence that's pushing all of this. Like, he's the bad person, she's the glowing angel. He's scared they're going to take his kids away from him. I feel like he is going to retreat to some place far away from a lot of people, and he's just going to go into hiding for a while.
Well, they're definitely doing a hit job on him because he's gone off message, hasn't he? And if you go off message, this is what they do to you. So, okay, I don't blame him for going in hiding.
I feel like he's being targeted. Now, don't forget, he's always been, he came out with this fashion campaign a couple of weeks ago that said "White Lives Matter" on the back of the shirt. And that was very controversial as well. And, he sort of gave explanations about the messages involved. But, if you want to be a successful businessman, which I feel like he really does, and he is, you have to learn how to be professional. And I think at this point, because he's getting over this divorce, he's got all these problems going on. I feel like he's cracking up a bit. And I think probably going into hiding, as he is now being told that he's going to do, and that's what is best for him, and to shut off all media, to shut off his phones, to shut off the TV. just concentrate on himself and his mental health. That's what he's being advised to do. I don't see that as a bad idea.
Oh, what do I? Does he have any plans to buy a Tesla car?
Do you have any plans to buy Tesla? No chance, he says.
Why is that?
Elon would never sell it to him.
Okay. Does he have any plans to go back into the music industry?
Do you have any plans to- He says he'll always be in the music industry in one way or another. I feel like he funds some rappers, some artists. He does financially back a lot of people in the
Yeah,
field.
no, I meant him himself. Does he see himself back on stage and performing and things like that?
Do you see yourself on stage performing? Not for a while yet. So as of today's date, which is October 25th, 2022, he does not anticipate any, there's no plans to be back on stage, right? This is a total disaster. And, his money he's just lost a lot of money overnight. I don't know how much Adidas were funding him, but he's just lost a lot of money. So now he needs to go retreat and have a deep think about what he's going to do. He's saying, like, why should I care? Why should I have to, censor myself? Why should I should be able to put my opinion out there? But, he's being told he can't. He has a big team of people around him at all times. And he has doctors who are focusing on his mental health. They're around him as well. I feel like he's on, he may be on some psychological medications, and I feel like he's just had a medicine change. Now, that's interesting to me, because if you know anything about those medicines, they are horrible. And you have to change them frequently in order to keep the same effect, because the brain gets used to one particular medicine and then it's no longer effective. So you have to change it and change it again. When people have tried to get off those things, it's a disaster. It is very, very hard to not take those medicines ever again. So he could be suffering, I feel like he's suffering a mental breakdown, but I also feel like he's suffering from some sort of medication change. And if anybody out there knows that those medicines are so severe, prime example, everybody knows by now I have kids, right? And my oldest one was in a very high performing school at one time. And I'll just go ahead and say it. There wasn't many, kids in the classroom, but the teachers were then starting to recommend that everybody goes on medication, right? Because these little boys and girls, 6, 7-year-olds, they can't sit still for 8 hours a day, and they need to burn off some energy. And they, this school was so high performing, not knocking the school was fantastic. But in order to improve the focus of the students, in that year, I noticed a majority of the students in that class, and you're talking about 8 or 9 students, ended up on medication. And I actually got pulled into a teacher conference about, well, maybe you should go to the doctor and see what medications, because, he likes to wriggle. Well, all children like to wriggle, right? Because they can't be expected to sit there for hours upon hours studying. And now these kids cannot get off this medication, right? And I'm so glad I stood my ground and I said, no chance will I put my kid on that medication to satisfy, the school system. If they're wriggling around, you need to let them go have a 10-minute break outside, right? And so anyway, I'm quite proud of that fact. Not knocking anybody, everybody's personal choices are up to them. But this medication now, because I know quite a lot about it, and this has come through in this reading, he's had a medication change, and I feel like that medicine's not good, so it can make you behave erratically.
Right. Okay.
Well, just from doing the CTT for so long, it really goes into, because the CTT rewires the brain, right? And I know you had a CTT before. You've been in, because we do a group every Monday, right? So I think you've turned up for a group. But what the CTT does is it rewires the brain. What they're trying to do is rewire the brain with medication, or maybe even shut off some brain pathways. And because the CTT is a permanent fixture, there's a lot of modalities out there right now. There's all kinds of alternative healing. There's sort of frequency and vibrational healing, but the body tends to kick back in its natural defenses, right? It tends to go back into that mode of operation over time. Even Lynn Buchanan has talked about it in his medical apps course. You may have to do that modality 12,000 times in order to sufficiently make a permanent change in somebody's brain. Okay, what they don't know is the CTT can actually rewire the brain after one session. And the more you do, the more it rewires the brain. And the reason I know that is because on our Monday groups, or even when I'm doing individual private sessions, a lot of times people will say to me, they feel this tingling on the top of their scalp. And that tingling is nothing to be afraid of. It's actually the brain in motion rewiring. And it is a permanent change, because I've worked on phobias, and all of that has to do with brain connections. And even after the CTT, not only have they gotten over their phobia, but they've never even remember really having that phobia in the first place. It's like a distant memory. It's like, yeah, it wasn't any big deal. But at the time when they were experiencing the phobia, it was a massive deal. So this whole thing of changing brain chemistry and brain rewiring by medication, and that's what he's going through. Sorry, that was a long-winded explanation.
Okay. Right.
I knew you were going to say that. All right. Oh, so I feel like he's just, he's finished. He's finished. He does not want to issue an apology. Now, his PR team are trying to make him issue an apology, and the media will force him possibly into that apology, just like they did James Corden. I think that's his name. I actually like him very much. If
James Corden or Kanye West?
James Corden. He was rude to somebody over an omelet in a New York City restaurant, and the papers just slated him to the point where he was forced to make an apology. Now, I don't know how big carpool karaoke is in the UK, but I certainly, if I want some good entertainment and a good laugh, I watch carpool karaoke. Right. But I feel with him, Kanye West, going into retreat, I don't think we're going to see an apology anytime soon. He's not going to make that knee-jerk apologetic reaction, right? He's not.
Okay.
Certainly as I'm probing him right now. What's your question?
I didn't have one. That was it.
Well, there you go, everybody. There's your probe on Kanye West. I listened to his first album. I don't know if it was his first album. What was it? Late Registration. It's pretty good. So, I mean, it's all right. But I don't listen to him lately. I don't know what he plays. I don't know what he does. I've never watched the Kardashians. So,
hell no.
Have you
God,
ever watched the Kardashians,
you've
Mr.
got to be
Shakespeare?
joking. You've got to be joking. The hell would I want to watch them for? Oh my God.
No, I mean, I think I'd rather watch paint dry than
Me
watch the
too.
Kardashians. You know, I'd rather.
They're famous for being famous, so they were obviously co-opted into all of this. So you
Yeah.
know, they have no talent or anything. They don't do anything. So I mean,
Well,
Kanye West has talent. So
yeah, he does. He does. That album is actually quite good. I like it. So yeah, I mean, it because he's suffering this mental disorder, and to be honest with you, like, I'm sorry that he said, offensive things, but I can clearly see he's suffering some sort of mental breakdown.
right.
He really is. And that's a shame. That's a shame for anyone.
Yeah.
See, he should just what he needs to do is he needs to book an appointment for Liz and do lots of CTT sessions, and we'll fix him up. You know what I mean? We'll get him feeling better really soon.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised he's not. Well, perhaps he hasn't heard of you, and now he will do. And now,
yeah, right. Oh gosh, yeah. It's astonishing to me. I was saying this yesterday for our CTT group. It's like the CTT is so immensely powerful. It should be known around the globe. It's such a quick, easy thing to do. Now, when I say quick, easy thing to do, it can take up to 2 hours to do a session, right? And you may need many sessions, but I've had people that have seen therapists for 20 years, and they may have done the EMDR or whatever, and it's not got the CTT just got them so far ahead within one session that they even experienced in the 20 years. So, that's the thing. I don't work on physical ailments. I don't do that, but certainly consciousness expansion and rewiring, getting rid of those emotional issues. I don't think it would work on schizophrenics and people with like serious mental disorders like that, right? But it certainly helps people when they're struggling with like depression. And then we are running an experiment at the moment, or I say we, but I'm running an experiment at the moment where I'm going to work on this autistic child who's still young enough to maybe transform the brain connections to see if the CTT can actually cure or help with autism, because it is brain rewiring. It's phenomenal. So stay tuned for that one. Anything else you want to add, Mr. Shakespeare? I know there's lots of things you want to say, but we can't say. But anything else?
No, not to this one. Thank you, Liz.
Okay, well, thank you. And bring on the hate comments that we didn't ask all the questions that you wanted us to ask. Right?
We're not allowed to ask them. That's why.
Well, I think people don't understand that, a lot of things we're not, we just can't go there, right? Okay, well, don't forget to sign up to the newsletter. You do that by going to psychiclizcross.com. Okay. You will then remain in touch with us if for any reason anything should happen, channels get taken down, things go bump in the night, who knows? But you will always be able to find out where we are. Thank you very much.